And now, a moment of truth with Hunter Avallone.
Ah, hello. I'm sorry to say, but your candidate has lost. Grow a pair and deal with it. According to the Book of Truth, page 11, verse 11, it says, He has lost to him, and he has won over him. I know it hurts. You're probably crying and pooping ever so slightly because I understand that you're scared, but he is in fact your president, which means that he is in fact not your president. Stop with the coping and wailing like a deranged banshee, put on your big boy pants, and face the fact that he is now the winner, and he is now the loser. This message was recorded prior to the official election results because I knew regardless of who won or lost, this message would be applicable. Thank you and have a nice day. What's up everybody, it's your favorite guy, Hunter Avallone here, coming in hot with a brand new video. It appears the election has finally been called, and Joe Biden is officially the winner of the 2020 presidential election. A lot has happened over these past few days, so much so, it felt like living through a real-life 90-hour-long suspense movie, except the ending would have real-life consequences. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. After a painfully long wait, the presidential race was finally called, declaring Joe Biden the winner. How on earth we went from this?
And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
To this is insane. But 2020 is full of surprises. On election night, Trump was off to a good start, winning Florida and Texas with a lead in Michigan. But as more and more mail-in ballots were counted, Biden gained ground in key battleground states, pushing him over the 270 electoral votes after 3 days of significant tension. At the time of writing, Biden is on track to win the popular vote by more than 4 million votes, and Donald Trump is the first incumbent president to lose re-election since George Bush in 1992. This was an insane election, with the largest voter turnout in American history, with a projected 161 million Americans voting in this election. The numbers are in. Biden has won, and Donald Trump has no path to victory. But this was basically like a movie trailer, because the actual thriller film is about to begin. Yeah, so Trump is claiming he won the election. Look, whatever you think about the Electoral College, it's how our elections currently work, and Joe Biden won the Electoral College vote and the popular vote fair and square. Don't be a sore loser about it and stop saying crap that's false. But wait, Trump is now claiming there was voter fraud. And now a bunch of his MAGA people are claiming there's voter fraud also. Is there voter fraud? No. Trump began prepping early, claiming vote by mail would somehow lead to fraud. Multiple studies have found mail-in voting to be safe, including a Washington Post analysis that found mail-in voting only had a fraud rate of 0.0025%. A 2017 study by the Brennan Center for Justice found the fraud rate overall in the US is less than 0.0009%. Even more so, independent studies have shown that mail-in voting doesn't benefit Democrats over Republicans. In fact, it doesn't really benefit either side. Both studies found mail-in voting only increased Democratic votes by minuscule margins so tiny that adjusting for error may completely eradicate the slight uptick. Despite these data-driven facts, there are still rampant claims of voter fraud coming from coping conservatives. Scores of misinfo have been going viral all over social media, largely thanks to Donald Trump spreading these rumors. Trump has pointed out several isolated cases of, quote, suspicious voting activity, but he's wrongly assuming this is somehow a conspiracy against him. For example, at a rally in October, Trump claimed that in Virginia, 500,000 applications were made that were false. What he didn't mention was that these ballots were sent out with the wrong return address, there was no fraudulent intent, and the mistake had since been corrected. The Virginia Center for Voter Information said, "We worked for weeks to make sure that no Virginia voter was inconvenienced as a result of our printing error." This is just one example of the many times Trump has referred to a simple error and extracted a conspiracy from it. A perfect example of this is a map of voting in Michigan, which showed a sudden increase of around 130,000 votes for Biden and none for Trump. This quickly went viral. Trump even retweeted it to further the claims of voter fraud. But again, this was an error, and when you have over 100 million people voting, errors are bound to happen occasionally. Decision Desk, the election monitoring website which created the map, said it was a simple error from a file created by the state that we ingested. The state noticed the error and produced an updated count. The guy who initially made the tweet, which Trump retweeted, has since deleted his tweet and issued a statement about the information being nothing more than an error. Later, multiple tweets with videos allegedly showing dead people voting in Michigan went viral as well. Michigan authorities quickly explained that votes from dead people are rejected. One of the men in the post was mixed up with his deceased father. The men have the same name and address. We've seen other isolated cases of allegations of dead people voting, most also explained by family members with the same name or technical hitches, such as voters being instructed to enter a dummy date of birth if they can't initially find their voter registration record online. Even if there were dead people voting, there's no proof these dead people are voting Democrat. And even if they were, that wouldn't have a big enough impact on the election. I know there are more, but most claims of voter fraud are easily explained and easily proven false. But these conspiracies are all part of the cope. It's an objective fact that there is, without a doubt, no large-scale voter fraud. I'm not denying fraud happens, but it's super rare, and large-scale voting fraud is much harder to explain and to prove than simply accepting the fact that Biden won and Trump didn't. Why else do you think all of Trump's lawsuits thus far have gone virtually nowhere? The cope has just been too much, though. I'm sure most of you have seen this, right?
The Biden crime family stealing the election! The media's covering it up! The Biden crime family stealing this election! The media's covering it up!
Well, Jack Black really let himself go.
The Biden crime family stealing this election! The media's covering it up! We want our freedom for the world! Give us our freedom, Joe Biden! Joe Biden's covering up this election! He's stealing it!
I like how he just screamed, "Joe Biden is stealing it!" Realized security wasn't gonna do jack, so he just kinda walked off, leaving everyone wondering where the nearest mental asylum is and how this guy just escaped from it.
Stealing it! Where were we?
On November 5th, before the official results were in, but it was looking more and more like a Biden win, Roosh V tweeted, "Donald Trump is the Christian leader of my nation, the constitutional and rightful authority given to me by God. He needs only to tell us what he wants us to do, and I will obey." Beta! Caitlin Bennett, is that you? This is more than coping. This is some sacrilegious cult-like nonsense. Bruh, Trump was a president. He's not your God-ordained authority given to you by the Constitution or something. Everyone's favorite shill, Sydney Watson, wrote an article seething about what will happen to her and her loser friends now that the MAGA safe space has been obliterated. And of course, you have your real insane bunch who just deny reality and claim Trump won the presidency. You have some who are slowly but surely coming to terms that the entire QAnon conspiracy was nothing more than a fairy tale for grown-ups. And still, you have your bots, the people who literally are saying the same thing over and over again about leaving America to go to Mexico. I don't know how that'll happen with Trump's wall in the way, but oh well, hoes mad. I'm prepared to receive a good amount of backlash for this, but yes, I seriously did vote for Joe Biden. I voted for Trump in 2016, but over the last 4 years, I've been more and more let down by Donald Trump. A lot of his policies didn't do what they were intended and ended up costing the American taxpayer. He expressed a lot of interest in locking people up for burning the American flag. He wanted to roll back libel laws so he could sue the media more easily. He's banned entire ideas from being talked about in government agencies. Donald Trump is not for free speech. And as someone who takes the Constitution and the First Amendment seriously, I couldn't bring myself to vote for Trump. Trump's overall demeanor and denial of certain facts started to get more and more irritating also. For example, Trump repeatedly boasted about the economy and the low unemployment rates, but the unemployment rates have been steadily decreasing since 2010, and it's a fact that the economy always comes back stronger after a recession. What policy did Trump pass that helped the unemployment rate? I think that Donald Trump became more and more unhinged over these last 4 years. But Trump's attack on our First Amendment rights, along with his disrespect for the branches of government, his attempts to undermine our democracy with his lies about voter fraud, and even his comments during the final debate where he mentioned low IQ immigrants entering our country, all just solidified my decision to vote for Biden this time around. I voted for Biden reluctantly. I am by no means a Joe Biden fan, just a guy who thinks Joe Biden is a little better than Trump, and if I'm forced to choose between these two guys, I'm voting Biden. Joe Biden has some decent ideas for police reform, healthcare, decriminalizing marijuana, plus his gun control policies were pretty reasonable while making sure to respect our Second Amendment rights, which is something I deeply care about. Another thing I care about is abortion. I consider myself pro-life, so voting for Biden or even a Democrat at all posed a bit of a challenge for me. However, there have been studies which found that abortion has been steadily decreasing, but that the sharpest drops occur under Democratic presidents. Tying abortion rates to a president is irresponsible, as it's much more complicated than that, but Democrats generally push for easy-to-access, if not free, contraceptives. Unwanted pregnancies are the #1 reason for abortions, so by lowering unwanted pregnancies, abortion rates go down as well. All in all, abortion rates have been steadily decreasing, but at the very least, we don't see any form of uptick in abortion rates under Democrat presidencies. This gave me some peace of mind, and I figured I could vote for Biden as someone who's pro-life with a clean conscience. Plus, the Republicans have been running on being pro-life forever, and they never do jack, mostly because the president doesn't really control the issue of abortion. So that's a brief summary why I voted for Joe Biden. I know, you guys can go ahead and judge me in the comments section. I know Joe Biden's a complete and total buffoon, but he's a little bit less of a buffoon than Donald Trump, so I'm happy. But there you guys have it, how Joe Biden won the COPE and who I voted for. Consider this the ultimate election video. Please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you all soon. Peace.